Paperwork day. It's the middle of January, so it's tax return time for me, but I'm going to start with something a bit more interesting. I'm going to be adding a few more items to our Etsy shop. Now Etsy is where we tend to sell our Brocante items, things we've picked up at Vide Greniers, at flea markets, just quirky items that we love and we hope you do too. Today I'm going to be listing some very English items, some very old items, and they are legal indentures, so legal documents. I've had these for a number of years and they've just been in a bag, in a spare room, and I've just never got around to really looking at them or to advertise them. So I'll give you a quick look. So I think we've got about 20 of these in total. They're all different names, different dates. We've got one from May 1802 here. There's an 1811 at the top. A very old one here from 1765. A lease here from 1797. There's beautiful writing on this one. 1782. They're all beautifully done. They've got wonderful history. And I think they look lovely when they're framed and up on a wall. So let's open a few up and see what we can learn. So we're just going to start with this one. This is one of the smaller ones. Now they were called indentures. Can you see this top edge has a very wavy or indented margin? Now this was just a safeguard against counterfeiting. So copies would be given to all parties. They would be placed together and cut in this irregular pattern. This would then identify the authenticity of each copy. Written in absolutely beautiful calligraphy onto vellum, which is a sheepskin or sometimes a calf skin. Now this one states that this indenture made the 6th day of August in the 34th year of the reign of our sovereign lord George II by the grace of God of Great Britain. And there you can see George II. So that will date this one to 1760. Now it's just in great condition. It's not the easiest to read, as you can see, but goodness me, what history this has got. Now when they were signed, they were also sealed, a wax seal. So black, green, or in this case a red seal, and this wax was then imprinted by a man's sovereign ring. Now this seal was a very sacred possession of any man, and upon his death the ring would usually be destroyed, and this was just to avoid any fraudulent uses. It's fascinating. This one is quite a bit bigger. This is a last will and testament of a lady called Mary Blythe of Kirklington in the county of York. This one is dated 1863 and comes with a small tight edition. Majesty's Court of Probate. You see the detailing done here on the will and testament part. Again, this was just to avoid any counterfeiting. You can imagine it'd be quite difficult to copy that. Another small one. This is a last will and testament of a chap called John Pearson. This one's actually a bit easy to read. So delivered in the county of York, gentleman made and published by me the 17th day of October in the year of our Lord 1823. This one again has a typed edition and seal. Now there's another one I want to show you that's quite interesting, and it's this one. It's very different to the others. The layout is very different, the writing is different, it's much more difficult to read. I just think it seems older than the other ones we've been looking at. Even if we scroll right down to the bottom, the wax seal is very different. So I'm going to do some more research, do some homework, see what I can find out, and I will get back to you when I've learnt something.
So where are we going tonight, darling?
We are meeting some friends and going to a restaurant that we've not been to yet. It's about 10 minutes walk from here, and I believe it's an evening of moules frites. And just wanted to let you know that I haven't had a chance to give you the update on the indentures yet. I've spent all afternoon doing some research and looking into them, and the one that I was very excited about, there's some excellent information I've got, and I can't wait to tell you all about it in the morning.
Ooh, it's exciting! Whilst I was doing that, I'm knocking walls down.
Good morning. We had such a lovely meal with our friends last night. It was a moules frites evening, so it was mussels with either a choice of a roquefort or a white wine sauce. Now, it would have been rude not to try both, so we did, and the roquefort sauce was absolutely beautiful. The restaurant itself was less than 10 minutes walk from here, so it's one we will definitely be returning to. Now back to this indenture from yesterday, and I said I got some very exciting news to share with you. I was definitely right on the date. It is much older than any of the other ones we were looking at. If you see here, it says 44 Elizabeth. This means it was written during the 44th year of Elizabeth's reign, and this is Elizabeth I we're talking about. So this means this document is dated 1602. Now, just to give you an idea, that's 3 years earlier than the gunpowder plot. Is absolutely incredible. The writing is very difficult to make out, but the names at the bottom are very clear: George Sands and Elizabeth Sands. Given these two names, the town of Ripon mentioned here, and the date of 1602, we're quite sure this is the George Sands, best known as a poet, philosopher, and a participant in the Jamestown settlements. And goodness me, what an interesting life this man has had. We think this is our chap. So born in Bishopsthorpe, Yorkshire, England, on the 2nd of March 1578, he was the 7th and youngest son of Edwin Sands, the Archbishop of York. With Mary Tudor on the throne, Edwin, his father, was arrested and placed in the Tower of London. He later moved prisons to more comfortable conditions, where he became friendly with the prison keeper who helped him to escape. He first went to Antwerp and then on to Strasbourg, where his wife joined him. Now, his wife and his infant son later died of a plague. He then moved on to Zurich until it was safe to return to England after the accession of Elizabeth I. Here he met and married Cecily Wilford, George's mother. Now, in the will of Edwin, it was mentioned a prospective marriage settlement between his son and his ward, Elizabeth Norton, the daughter of John Norton. Now, this arrangement had apparently been made earlier between 1584 and 1585, and it determined that Norton had agreed to give George and Elizabeth and the couple's future children all of his lands in Ripon, Yorkshire, if and only if George and Elizabeth were to get married in the future. Otherwise, Elizabeth would get to inherit the land herself. Now, when their fathers first agreed this, George was 7 years old and Elizabeth was only 4 years old. Now, they did get married in 1602, which is the date of this document. Now, other documents still state that George never married, but this one here, in several places, it does state Elizabeth, his wife. Now, by 1609, George had abandoned his marriage, and his wife's family had taken up a lawsuit against him, accusing him of having engaged in a wasteful course of spending and neglecting his estates. It's like a soap opera, this, it's just fantastic. Now, in 1610, which is the year of George's mother's death, he started his famous journey to the Middle East. Now, some say this was most likely an escape route from his troubles at home. He departed from London on the Little Defence of London. He travelled to France and then on to Greece, Turkey, Syria, Palestine, Egypt, Cyprus, Crete, Malta and Italy. Wow. Now, he spent 4 months in Constantinople, sailing for Egypt aboard the Trinity of London. He left Cairo by camel for the Holy Land on March the 4th, 1611. After 3 weeks in the Holy Land, he rejoined at the Trinity and eventually made his way back to Italy, where he spent time in Sicily, Naples and Rome before returning to England. He documented his travels under the title The Relation of a Journey, published in 1615. It attained much popularity. It contained a description of the Turkish Empire, of Egypt, of the Holy Land, of the remote parts of Italy and adjoining lands. It formed a substantial contribution to geography and ethnology. Now, this book also contains one of the earliest English accounts of coffee consumption, George comparing it to the taste of the ancient Spartans. I'm guessing he wasn't a fan. Now, his travels to the east ended in 1612. In 1607, Sands had become involved with the Virginia Company of London and the Bermuda Company. After his trip abroad, he became an active stockholder in the Virginia Company of London, and in August of 1621, he sailed to America as the treasurer of the Virginia Company in Jamestown. He was at Jamestown during the massacre of 1622, where he led the avenging party at Tappahannock across the river. Now, Sands left America in the 1620s, returning to England, and on his return he was made a gentleman of the bedchamber by King Charles I. Now, whether as a friend, a prince or a king, Sands dedicated all of his works to him. George Sands died in March 1644 and is buried in Boxley in Kent. Now, I could carry on reading about this for days and days, and I'm sure it won't be much of a surprise to you that I haven't actually done my tax return yet, so that's definitely next on the list. But whilst I've been researching this, Steve has been very, very busy in the games room to be downstairs, so I think we'll have a catch up and I can show you what he's been doing along with our song of the week.
Okay, downstairs in the games room to be lots of things to do. Started pulling the ceiling down, which is just what I expected it to be. These couple of these walls are this chalky panel stuff, so they should come down really easy, non-supporting, no structural work being done by them, so that'll come out easy. The panelling, unfortunately, if you just have a look, it's really good quality pine. It's a real shame, but this stuff is there's nothing I can really salvage it for. Unfortunately, it's just a good quality pine. There's no knots in it, but it's not going to come down very well, and it is small section to try and reuse it for something else. We'll just end up with a big pile of kindling, I think, for the fire. So the idea is to get some of this ceiling down so we can quickly get power in to what is going to be the study, and then we can carry on with the study. I'm not jumping the gun by starting another task before I finish the task, but I just need to get a hole through there, so we can manage now. I think get some power in there, I can continue at plasterboard, fill, tidy, paint, one room done.
Steve's got his drill in his hand, sweating hard in the hot, hot sand. Hammer swinging, dust in the air. He'd rather be drinking than living this nightmare. The walls are coming down brick by brick, but all he can think of is a cold beer kick. He dreams of the beach, the ocean breeze, but he's stuck here bringing this place to its knees. Oh, Steve, you're breaking down the walls. Could be at the beach bar having a ball. Instead, you're drilling, hammering, making a mess. But when it's done, you'll play pool, I guess. Saws are screaming, hammers flying. Dust is thick, but Steve's still trying. He's working hard, but his mind's on the sea. A beach chair, a beer, and feeling free. One more wall, then it's all gone. He'll be sipping cold ones till the sun's all gone. But first he's gotta finish this plan. A games room's worth more than a tan. Oh, Steve, you're breaking down the walls. Could be at the beach bar having a ball. Instead, you're drilling, hammering, making a mess. But when it's done, you'll play cool, I guess. The noise is loud, but he won't stop. He's dreaming of the beach, but he's got a chop. One last swing, the room's complete. Then it's pool time, a cold drink to greet. Oh, Steve, you're breaking down the walls. Could be at the beach bar having a ball. Instead, you're drilling, hammering, making a mess. But when it's done, you'll play pool, I guess. When the dust settles and the room's all set, Steve's gonna relax, you can bet. But for now, he's drilling, making it right. Steve's Games Room's coming tonight.
Hi, what we're doing there today? This morning?
At Magic World.
Magic World.
Magic World. Not to go on the rides, but because it's a huge Vide Grenier flea market. I'm just going to take Finn for a quick walk first. There he is. And then we'll go see what we can buy.
They want to be coloured, don't they? Black on colour. I'd actually use it.
Oui, je suppose. Ils sont bien pratiques, ceux-là.
Check. Should have that green base on it.
underneath, yeah.
Yeah, it's too big for that.
C'est normalement un plus grand plateau.
Oui, exactement, oui. C'est combien pour les
La
centres?
joueur d'échecs, c'est combien? 25
C'est
Ouais, ils sont
c'est
complets.
complet.
Complet, je regarde.
Ok.
32. Hein?
Oui, 32, oui.
Even the little ones in pots have oranges on. Definitely doing something wrong with ours. Yeah, we're not in the van today, unfortunately.
Celle-là est à 20 € parce qu'elle est abîmée.
C'est combien?
20 € celle-là. Celle-là est abîmée.
It's cool. Merci.
Alors à nous, messieurs, dames.
And we're back from the Mash Pousse, or the flea market, with a couple of purchases. One in particular that I'm pleased with is this vintage, it's antique. I think this could be close to 100 years old. This is a good quality boxwood chess set, in really good condition as well. I'm really pleased with this. Usually there's lumps missing out where they've been dropped, and this has hardly been touched. So these are boxwood. Definitely boxwood. And these could be, the black pieces could be boxwood that's been stained, I'm not sure. Maybe even rosewood. Very rich colouring. And to add to that, they're actually weighted at the bottom. So there's a lead weight in the bottom there, which would have been covered by a green pad. And they're all missing, but that's an easy thing to replace. But it just gives a really good feel to, when they're weighted like that, to play the game of chess. It's just oozing quality. I'm really pleased with that. The problem with it was it came with this rather naff plastic, too small chessboard, so you can see that they're just too big. The pieces are clearly too big for this. So I will enjoy making a chessboard for that. For this set, I can't make a chess set, not certainly not to this quality. It would take a long time to come up with that, but to find a chess set for 20 euros as well, I can make a board half a day. That'll really make this thing look the business. I've got some still got some leftovers from the pool table that we did, the Cocobolo, and I've got some beech, so two good contrasting timbers. May work, I don't know. I've also got some walnut, so maybe if I dig that out, I'll give it some thought. But either way, I just need two contrasting timbers to make a chessboard, which is a fairly simple task. And I will feature that the process of making that in a future video. But again, the quality of these things, I don't know if you can picture that, but just see that. It's just really good quality. It's, for the age of it, not to have lumps missing. You know, they're quite delicate, some of these things. So yeah, all in all, very pleased with that. Goodbye. 2 items we bought today from Magic World. The place, yes, the place is called Magic World. And it's a huge, well, it's a huge car park. There's a theme park there called Magic World. And the way it's just laid out just makes me think of Wally World, you know, from the film, the vacation movies or Chevy Chase, but those of you who know. The second item, which I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do anything with, but I did like it, is this, you can see that's the pinball back glass, but very, very distressed. If you look at the back there, you can just see how much some of the detail is flaking off. In fact, there's very little detail left, but I think if I just lay it over another mirror, and I actually have a mirror that's nearly bang on right size, and then give it a clean. I'll just pass this around to you. I'll give it a clean and maybe put a bit of a simple frame around that. I think it still has a little bit of something. You can just about make out that it was Space Invaders from the Ballet pinball machine. So, how old's that? 40 years old? Thereabouts. Anyway, we're going to try and do something with it. It's too good to throw away. I need 20 euros. You know, it was cheap enough, so very little risk.
So that's the end of another week. We've been so busy, it's passed incredibly quickly. There's just one other thing I'd like to tell you about, and that is we're going to start filming, I'll call them feature vlogs. They're going to concentrate on one particular subject throughout. So maybe a visit to a city, a recipe, a hike in the hills. This week is going to be our first one, and I'm going to be showing you around our Mediterranean garden as it is in the winter. I'm going to end this vlog now. We really hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any more information on George Sands, then we'd really like to hear about it. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button below. It costs you nothing and it really helps our channel to grow. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to look out for our midweek extra, and here's a little teaser. Bye bye.